Right, so we are live today with the amazing Katt Phillips. Now, I've known Katt for, I think that's gone live. We gone live? Yes, we've gone live. I've known Katt for quite a few years. We started working together as client and mentor because Katt had the problem of having too many clients, and it just all needed restructuring. And so now you booked up for over a year, aren't you, Katt?
Yeah.
But Katt also has, Katt's over in Chicago. She comes over every year to our boot camp, so lots of people already know her. But as well, Katt has her business, but then also has like an online store called Petal and Herb. So what we everyone's been asking how to set up a really quick online store so that they can start and sell. I mean, in an ideal world, obviously, you'd have your web designer and things involved, but you know, at the moment, we just need something to get something up that's going to be low cost. And Katt is amazing at doing these kind of things. So Katt, I'll pass over to you. I don't know whether you want to like say a little bit of your backstory because it's such a fascinating story, your history.
Oh, thank you, Susan. I'm super excited to be able to be here and help out in any way that I can. So we're talking mostly about online retail stores, and I would say probably, like just that part of the backstory is that I have a very large business that I run out of a 10 by 10 room. And there is no front office or anything like that. So I needed a way to be able to get my clients products quickly without having to set an appointment and stop my flow of income from treatments. And so in trying to figure this out, my husband and I sat down and decided we were going to do the online store. And we got the basic framework up for the store in less than 2 days. And then over the next 30 days, we put all of the products in, and I was working full time at the time as well and running my business. So it was just on kind of the off hours, couple hours a week. And so over the next 30 days, we got over 200 products put in, ready to go, started advertising, and everything was live. And now, now that adds about 25% onto my regular retail onto my regular income every month. And we also use it for a avenue to be able to give back charity. So we do 10% of our profits from the website go to a different charity every quarter. So we've been doing it that way. We are predominantly selling directly to our clients, although we do have a couple people from around the country that will pop in and buy something here and there. But predominantly, this is something as just a portal to make things a lot easier for our clients to be able to receive their products without disrupting the regular spa or having to even leave the house. And it's been wildly successful for us.
Yeah, I mean, it's just perfect timing now, isn't it? Now, just before we go any further, I just want to say something because obviously in the UK, things are slightly different to in the States at the moment. Now, I've had a lot of questions from people asking if they're going to be able, if it's going to affect anything that they get from HMRC if they set up an online store. Now, if you furlough yourself as a director, you're supposed to just stick to doing director duties, such as filing and things. So it's a bit of a grey area because the director's duty also is to generate an income, but because of furlough, if you furloughed, you're temporarily laid off, really it's sort of something you need to check yourself first, because the website, the government website's changing all the time as well on like guidance on this. So if you're not furloughing yourself, you're fine just to go ahead and set this up. But if you're going to furlough yourself, then look at it first, because it might be construed that you're setting something up to generate an income. So yeah, it's just something look into first. Right. So we've had so many questions on that, and I've asked Chris Cheney and I've looked at different things, but it's just not clear at the moment. But so it's just something that you need to decide on, and whether or not that it's something to do. So yeah, so Katt, just going back, if someone is going to set up an online site, how much is it going to cost?
It really depends on the company, and they kind of go wildly. So I would say, like, our site, we use BigCommerce, which is probably one of the big three, if you consider some of the companies that are actually in England themselves, as far as a self-hosted, like they have, they hold all of my information. I don't have to keep any of it on any of my own servers. And I feel that those tend to be the best, is to have the ones that are hosted by another company. Ours cost us about $100 a month, American, but we have every bell and whistle, all the plugins on it. And so that one's really been good for us, because we have all of the marketing tools that go along with it, as far as abandoned carts. If someone leave something in their cart and they don't buy it, there's a follow-up emails, and all those things are automatic. So we do have that with BigCommerce. You've got other companies like Shopify and EKM, which is very popular in England. And there are a lot of different add-ons. Even with ours, the look and feel, the template that we use did cost us about $100 extra, but it's a one-time charge. You don't ever have to buy that template again. If you're using things that are a little bit more simple, which is Squarespace, Wix, those have, it's almost like playing a video game on your iPhone, where they charge you for things anytime you want to do something. They do have all these little up charges, and that can add up. So you may be better off looking at something that has more of a bundle.
So is it possible just to set something really basic, and maybe just have your top products and gift vouchers on?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. They will all have that available to you, that where you can go on, and in just a couple of hours you can get all your stuff up and you're able to start selling. The what's going to take the longest is making it pretty. It's going to be your headers and all your different menus, but that doesn't need to be set up immediately. You can be live and taking payments super fast, and you can go back and make things pretty in the end.
Someone asked, and I did resonate with this one. I'm not techie at all, which I'm not techie at all. Is it really technical? So if someone hasn't got, I mean, I know you're quite astute online and things. If someone isn't, is it, these platforms, do they pretty much walk you through what you've got to do?
Most of them do. The hardest thing is going to be, again, it's going to be the menus and things like that. I'm cell phone techie, but I'm not techie. And, but I'm impatient. So although I have a techie husband, I'm not willing to wait for him. So I actually taught myself how to do all of it while I was at work one day. So with the YouTube and the tutorials, you can absolutely do it. As long as you can, if you could put together IKEA furniture, you can do this. It's not, it may take a glass of wine, but I think that you can definitely do it.
More like a bottle and a straw.
Exactly. But that's the thing is though, I mean, we're business owners, we're tenacious, we know what we have to do. And it is absolutely doable. It is absolutely doable. It's frustrating, but anybody can teach themselves how to do it.
Right, I'm just looking to see who's on. We've got Sarah's on, Sarah Hurst's on, Nicola Marta's on, Stephen Gardner's on.
Oh,
Yeah, it's like it's a boot camp again.
wow. I love it. People I know.
I'm just going to see whether I can read. For some reason, I can never get to read all the questions on here. Sarah Hurst saying you can't. You can only furlough if you're also on PAYE. Yeah, I mean, the thing is that to say, I think just going back, you just have to decide whether or not the amount of sales that you can make on this justifies whether or not you furlough yourself or not.
Now,
yeah.
I will say, because we stopped in the salon on the 16th. I just to live a little bit. We end up doing about $10,000 in 2 weeks, just in people needing their products that would have normally have been able to come in. So it's worth considering and running the numbers, because I had no clue that it was going to generate as much as it did.
Right. Okay. Yeah. And I think
And
as
how
well,
fast.
it's just, so do you advertise your site, or is it just word of mouth, or, you know, do you have it promoting it on social media and things? And
I honestly, I really don't. So I have my newsletter that goes out to my clients. I do have a click link on my Instagram that I have, you know, the link tree that it's in there, but that's really what I do. I don't do Google AdWords. I don't do any of it.
right.
It's literally just internal, and then my SEO.
All right. So do you think it's better to have it separate to your website or part of your website?
So that's where it gets to be a little crazy, is that with a lot of the websites having it inside your own website, that's where it gets very, very technical. If you really want to go in and get down and dirty, I would highly recommend either doing what we did and have like a whole separate web address, which now we are porting ours over. So Petal and Herb is now going to be listed as shop.grafenskinandbeauty.com, so which is called a subdomain. That's going to be the fastest way to do it, is to have its own web address or do a subdomain. You can fix a lot of that later. If you're trying to integrate it so it's all in the same menus and everything else as your existing salon, that's when things get very technical, because the integrations are they're shoddy at best. And so then you're looking at something where you're going to need a web developer that's going to have to build everything from the ground up. And that is beyond my technical ability, and my husband's as well.
Gillian's just asking, what would your recommendations be for sites to sell online for one person salon? And she was thinking Wix, but she's unsure.
Okay, so Wix is good if you don't have a website. So the way Wix and Squarespace both work, those are website builders that have a plugin that goes in with it. So if you already have a Squarespace or you already have a Wix website, I would recommend just plopping that add-on in. But if you already have a website that is hosted a different way, I would go with either Shopify, BigCommerce, or EKM, which is the English platform, which are what you call like their hosted platforms. They're just a little bit, they have much better technical service, and they have much better room to grow, and they're purpose built. Whereas with Squarespace and Wix, it's not purpose built. It's made to fit into something that already exists, but it's not, they're just a little bit more difficult that way.
Okay.
That makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense. I'm like, if you're starting from scratch, yes, do that.
The thing is as well that what Katt's going to do, she's actually, her and Brian, her husband, are going to do like a well, they've done a fantastic handout which Connor's going to pop into the chat. so that you've got like a walkthrough checklist of what to do, and a little bit about different platforms and things. But then as well, Katt's going to do a business bundle in Beauty Directors Club. So it's going to be like 5 little videos just walking you through what to do, and then as well like checklists and things. So you know, I know everyone at the moment is coming into Beauty Directors Club because we've letting everyone in just to come and use everything that's there. Just at this time, we're just trying to help as many people as possible. So that's going to be up probably next week, would you say?
I would try. My husband is considered essential worker, so he still has to go to work. But today's our wedding anniversary, so I'll see whether or not I can get him to do some work today. But yeah, because he is home today.
Felicity's saying, I was selling online but stopped a couple of years ago as it was not working well. I'm with Online. Not sure what that one is.
I actually don't know that one, unfortunately. Was it not working because there was a problem with the checkout, or was it not working because of people weren't going? Because that's the biggest, I think that's one of the biggest things, is that people think that when you build a website that they will just come. Yeah. They don't. So a lot of times when I'm getting text messages from my clients, they'll text me like, I need this. And then you just send them the link to the website. You still have to, there's always going to be those people you still have to handhold. You can have online booking all day long, but there will still be those people that you will have to book them yourself.
Just laugh. Sam, you know Sam. Sam, we've got everyone on. Sam saying happy wedding anniversary.
Thank you. 9 years.
Now there's quite a few questions that are coming in relating to whether or not for PAYE and things, whether it's going to work. Now what I'm going to do with this is, because obviously Katt's in the States, and because you know everything's changing on a daily basis, what I'll do is I will get Chris Cheney to have a look through these questions and get him to answer the ones about like whether your husband can set up and all that kind of thing, because obviously otherwise we're not going to go with you know, we just need to make sure that it's like accurate as of today as well. I just wanted to make you aware that like it's not just as simple as if you furlough and setting it up for yourself. Sarah Virgo, you know Sarah. Sarah's saying, do you sell straight from brands?
I do sell, I do not sell straight from brands. However, we're starting, I know that you guys are as well, we're starting to see a lot of drop shipping that is now happening from our brands. So one thing that I did do is I did research which companies are the best for using drop shipping, because I don't think drop shipping is going to go away after this. I think brands have figured out that they can make a lot of money doing that. But if you do BigCommerce, which is the one that I built on, or if you use Shopify, both of them will integrate directly with your vendors if your vendors allow it, so that the stock keeps coming up straight and you don't have to make that phone call. Like they bought it from you, then you have to call the vendor, and then the vendor has to get the thing, and it'll all go seamlessly. So right. No one will know that you are not holding the stock yourself.
Right, because at the moment, I think because it's fairly new for us, so what's tending to happen is that we have to contact our supplier, they then ship the product out. Some are doing that and some are still just sending orders to us. Louise was asking about what about shipping costs and things. Do you just include all of those in that?
So originally, and again, this with the US numbers, originally I had a $50 cap, like at $50, then your shipping became free. Now that I've been rolling a lot more, I decided that I would take the risk on my profits and remove all shipping costs. Now, when I removed shipping costs, the amount of products sold went up by 20%.
Wow. That's good to know, isn't it?
Yeah, the only thing that I did do, just so I'm not paying somebody to take my products, I don't sell lip balm online anymore, because people would buy a $7 lip balm and that's my shipping cost. So I was, it cost me $14 to send them something that was $7. So, those little items, but also I mean, to be able to get lip balm, if you want lip balm, I have it bundled with a hand cream so that you get those two items together, which gets me to where I'll still profit a couple of dollars after giving away the free shipping.
Louise is saying that she set up a shop through a Facebook business page. She's really terrible at technology, but still managed. So is that an option then?
Yes. So Facebook, you can do it on Facebook. And the nice thing with Facebook is they allow you to because they own Instagram, they allow you to cross sell on Instagram. Their payment options can be a little wonky. So if you want to have, you almost have to set up a separate payment option, and it won't be able to be folded into your salon's till. So you'll have to have, you'll basically have another stream of revenue that's going to show up in a different column when you're doing your accounting. But you can make Chris deal with that.
So on Facebook, would you be quite limited to what you can do there? Or like, as in how many products and things you can have, or?
Honestly, the Facebook started after I already had mine in place. I did eyeball it a little bit, and you can do a lot of different things. And I'm sure, the last time I looked at it was maybe 2 years ago. So I'm sure that it's changed significantly. But what I would say is make sure that the VAT and your taxes and all that stuff can be done in that. Or whether or not you have to do all the things to make yourself legal on the other side. So that was where there was some pushback here when it first started, but I'm pretty sure they're pretty smart over at Facebook. I'm pretty sure they've probably figured a lot of that out. So, and I do remember it being pretty easy a plug and play at that time. So it should be not too bad if you already have a following there. But the issue is that if your clients aren't on Facebook,
yeah,
they can't purchase from you. So if your clients are used to going and seeing your stuff on Facebook, I think that's great. But if you only have a 1/10 of your clientele that is on your Facebook, it's not going to get you what you need.
Catherine Carter's on. It's a boot camp. Catherine's saying Environ Skin Aid are offering something similar with the product thing. Sarah's saying, Aspire give me a link to sell directly from them. Do you do this?
I don't. All of my brands just started offering it the second we closed down. So it is a new option for them. In looking at it, because I already have my online store set up and I do already hold my stock, there's not, the profit margin goes much further down. Plus, everything I send is branded. So I do, in my packaging, I have, very specific things. I have my own letters. I write a handwritten letter in every single one of them. The samples are chosen individually for the client that I'm sending them to be able to do some leads and things like that, because I like to, this is a long-standing revenue stream for me. That isn't a great choice because I do not have the ability to control what goes to my client. The other concern is that a lot of, if you listen to a lot of the brands and you listen to how their language has changed in a couple of years, a lot of brands are starting to speak directly to our customers and going over us. I'm not 100% sure that I want to blur that line between me and direct contact with my brands.
Yeah, I think that's quite interesting as well, because you do, that's a great thing to say, like when you send things out, you really, really make it quite personal. And I think that is something that is, you know, something that we can take like from, because there's nothing like opening something up. I mean, you just got to look at the big brands, or you just got to look at iPhone. They'll never open the box for you when you get an iPhone. They'll always get you to open it yourself, and you know how many seconds it's going to take you, and like, and it's like unwrapping and unfolding something. It's like an experience, and it's the same with like, you know, like Mulberry handbags. It's all like the packaging around it and everything. And I know somebody who talks more about that than they do about the actual thing. But now I think things like handwritten cards and that just are so important, because it's that personal thing.
And you can get, I mean, if you guys can see that, this is one that I'm sending right now. And so it has, you know, spring cleaning your routine. And these are articles that I write that are for I do a different one every quarter that has, it's seeding people to update their routine, and it gets people in the mood to buy more. And you know, when you can really put that in your own voice, it makes that connection a lot stronger. Whereas someone may have repurchased from me online their eye cream, I can send them something triggering them. They're like, you know, spring is coming around. We're going to have pollen in the air. When that happens, you have eczema. We should, you know, and it makes them start thinking, and it makes them reach back out to you. And I think that is being able to continue that conversation from inside the treatment room into that box that goes into their house is really important. And one of the things that in my treatment room, I have these little, these citrus candies that I fly in from Italy, and everyone knows that they're going to be there at their treatment, at their last piece of their treatment. Those candies go in the boxes as well. And so, and that's on purpose, is that we, you know,
the experience.
Yeah, if you're going to put that, if you're going to extend your salon, if you're shipping and not your brand, you can remind them why they want to come back in.
That is a brilliant point. I think the moment, you know, when money's so tight, I think the advantage of the other is that, you know, basically you don't have to have X amount of stock coming to you. It's a case of it just drip Fred, like you're telling them, and they like shipping it out. But like you say, that does take the personal element out of it. So it is something to think about. Possibly, I mean, you know, at the moment, if somebody has never done it before, getting the supplier just to do it at the moment might be something, while you're thinking about how you're going to personalize it for the future, kind of thing. Because at the moment, it'd be quite hard, apart from putting personal cards in, you know, there's no printers open or anything at the moment. So it'd be hand doing things. And I think you've got to make sure that it looks the part as well, haven't you? So it's like there's two sides to it, I think, at the moment. Why, I mean, moving forward, you know, having personalized things, I just think it's just, it just makes such a difference. And even wrapping things, and so that when someone gets it, like when they open, there's something to open as well. I just think that is just a lovely touch as well.
Yeah, I think that the biggest thing is that building a website, getting something up there down and dirty, super fast, I think is great. And I think that that's super important for us to be able to do, to be able to continue some sort of revenue. But not even that, is that if you're not giving your clients their products now, they're buying it from Amazon.
Yeah.
They're buying it off of eBay. They're buying all kinds of manner of crazy stuff. They're buying it from Boots. I mean, you know, and that's really what comes down to, is that right now, because we are shut down, it's really easy for someone to replace us. And I think that if you're going to build a website and get something up and going, I think right now you use all the tools that are being given to you by your brands. If they're going to ship for you and they're going to do all that stuff, I think that's awesome. But if you're going to go through the work to build the website, play the long game.
Yeah.
It's a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of work to be able to get it going and get it to look the way you want. But I will go to bed at night and I will wake up and I've made a $3,000 sale and I was asleep.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, these are things that can move forward, and the online stuff is going to be even more. If you think it was bad before, everybody's shut down. No one's leaving their house. The only things that are coming from online stores. So if we don't really have a hold of being able to capture that market afterward, we're going to get left in the dust.
Some of our companies, for example, Environ, you have to have an online consultation before you buy, which is just really a formality kind of thing. But I think you're exactly right, because although for somebody to go to somebody else now and have to go through an online consultation to buy their products, once they've done that, they're registered with that company as well. So I think, we have to get on to it really, really quickly now, because once somebody finds the convenience of buying somewhere else, then, and as well, a lot of these companies are doing discounts and things as well. Is that something you ever do, Katt, where like if someone say buys 3 products, do they ever get a discount or anything? Or
we have Black Friday here, and I do Black Friday discount, and that's the only one that I do, and I only do it for 4 hours. So everybody knows that I do that. That's all floods in one day. But other than that, I sell everything. I don't discount. Everything gets sold full price. Because if my clients are going to come and try to dicker with me on pricing, they're not my ideal client. I will not devalue the quality of my brands by discounting them. I refuse to do it. But at the same time, I do really push that charity angle that I told you about, where I have the 10% that goes to charity, that, and then the personalization. And then they're not on my website. They don't, even when you're on my website, you don't feel like you're having to figure your skin out by yourself. There's still a lot of hand holding that I do to make it personal. And most people will pay for service. They want the convenience to be able to handle it themselves, but it's the service that gets them to come back over and over again. And so we haven't really had to discount.
Stephen's asking if the leaflet that you did, if you could either do a screenshot of it or whether or not we could have something to have a look at from that.
Yeah,
we do some great ones.
I'll give you screenshots. I've got a bunch of them. I'll give you screenshots of them, and anybody wants to rip off my wording, just go for it.
Marta's asking, what about returns policies?
So my return policy is that if it is unopened 30 days, they can return it, but my brands do not accept the returns. So if someone returns things, it is absolutely, I eat the money. So but I will honestly, in my shop and on my online store, had it running for 4 years now. I've had 1 bottle returned, and it was because the pump had gone bad. So it was a failure on the product. It wasn't of the packaging. It wasn't the product itself. So I really haven't had much of that. I think you have to tailor that based on your clientele. Like if you have a clientele that tends to return a lot of things, you need to be a little cautious on how you word things.
Yeah. But the thing is as well, because if you prescribe them the right things in your clients, then, I mean, we have like a 7-day money back guarantee just in the salon as well. So, because I was like, well, if someone takes something and they don't like it, then it's normally something minor to change it. But then we can just use that if it's pump anyway in the treatment room. But Yeah, I mean, the thing is that, like, I know with our returns policy, we have, I think we could count in 30 years on our one hand how many products we've had and things. So I don't think people are really in a return culture. So hopefully it wouldn't be too much.
I think when the customer knows you directly, I think it becomes very difficult to return things.
Yeah.
I mean, I think people will return to, you know, to a big company where it's mindless, faceless, it doesn't matter. But I think people do realize that we're small business owners and they, you know, they look after us that way, which I think is really lovely.
I was just having a quick look to see if, like, because Connor, because I can never get to see all the comments. We've got 73 comments, but a lot of these are just like
unpopular.
So the thing is, I think all the questions that I had, we've practically covered. It's the ones that people had asked before. There was a couple of people said, you know, do you think it's worth paying someone to do it, or do you really think that it is that straightforward?
You know, I think it's that straightforward because I'm willing to sit down and read a YouTube and things like that. Susan, you worked with me. I don't hire anybody for anything. I like, because most of it for me is that I don't know how to articulate what it is that I want. It is easier for me to design it myself and do it myself than it is for me to try to explain to somebody else what I want, because I don't know until I start messing around with it myself. So I think that really becomes a personal preference. If you want hands off, or, you know, and have somebody make it for you. But I would say that right now, I think so many companies are trying to get websites done right. You're probably going to pay a lot more because the demand is there.
Well, we really do have the time at the moment, though. That's the thing. And
if you start down the route of doing your own and decide that you can't do it, or you need certain things, I mean, you can hire somebody to do little pieces. You know, it's not like you can't start on your own and decide like, oh my God, I can't do this, and then not have somebody else do it for you.
I think at the moment there's so much help out there as well that, you know, because I know now, especially with the business bundle, once that releases, there'll be so many people going through and doing it together, then it makes all the difference. And I mean, you're in the group all the time. So if someone's stuck, then we'll be like shouting out to your Katt.
Oh, that's fine.
Sarah's asking, what's the link to your online shop, Katt?
It's petalandherb.com. PETALANDHERB.com. Now, I will say that I just did an update and we are still tweaking the new look of the site. So I'm actually in the process right now of fixing a lot of like little things that are, you know, messed up because I went from one to another. Because on a whim, it's like a new dress. I wanted a new dress. And so I just got one. So now I have to go and get it fitted.
Okay. Now, has anyone got any more questions? I think I saw one flash up before from Rosie, and that was about sugar and product, but that I think is more B2B, where we're looking at the moment more B2C, to different kind of process you would have.
That would be the B2B and B2C made me really think of something. One of the things that I would say that takes the longest is the descriptions. When you get the descriptions, you can generally get them from your from the brands directly. Make sure that you ask them for the B2C descriptions, because if you put up on like a lot of mine, I have a lot of B2B because I don't want people to buy certain things without talking to me about it. But if you put the B2B descriptions of your products up, they can be really confusing to customers and they won't buy them. Because there's so much technical jargon in them.
I see that sometimes in brochures where people have like obviously just cut and paste from what, but it's more for it's not like you say, not so much for B2C. Serene Skincare is saying it's a beautiful site. Obviously, people are jumping on already and having a look. But now, as I say, Connor normally sends over. Oh, here's a question, right? Oh, we've just done that. What's the link to your online shop? So we've just done that. So I do think we've possibly covered most of what we needed to here.
Awesome.
And as I say, if anyone's got another question they want to pop up, then please do it now, because I can see these ones. But as I say, the business bundle, hopefully we'll have that next week. Katt is always in our groups anyway, so she'll be there too if anyone gets stuck. All of the questions that are surrounding the legalities of doing this, I will get Christine just to quickly answer them, just to make sure that everyone knows exactly where they are. Sarah's saying she loves your site as well. It is a lovely site. It's just a perfectionist though. And you're saying that originally, is that the original one that took a couple of days originally to set up, or is that?
So all of the information that is on there, all the information on there is the original stuff. What you're seeing now that's different is in that front page. That front page now, the different banners that I have, and how I've got it broken up to where you've got where I'm showing like trendsetters or acne safe, things like that. Those are all things that are part of the template that I've decided to switch to. And there's when you change templates, what happens is it's literally like trying to wear somebody else's clothing. It just doesn't quite fit right, and so you have to fiddle with it. Now, if you pick your template and you start and you build from the ground up on one template, it'll look spot on from the very beginning. And so that's why, like, right now I'm in like a little bit of a growing pain with mine, but yeah, that was the one that I originally did. It's just basically just a new face on it.
Now Stephanie's just asking, how much roughly should we allow for packaging? Sorry if it's been covered. Do you just have a standard, or?
So packaging for me and shipping, it ends up being about $10 total, and that's all in the cost of the samples and things like that, because we pay for our samples here. So that's about what I'm looking at now. I get boxes free from my from our postal service. So we do have free boxes from that, but we also have a lot of the times when you buy stuff directly from your vendor, there's little boxes inside of a big box, and I'll reship in those. And most people, if you're shipping to them, they don't care if it's coming in a shoebox. Everybody is about saving the planet right now. So if you reuse a box, it's fine.
And how fast do you get orders out? Because I know you are so busy all the time. So if someone puts an order in, how fast do you ship that out?
So I get home from the clinic and I print out all my shipping receipts. I go downstairs, I package them all up. They go out first thing in the morning. Yeah, nice. So I turn mine around every day. However, I will say that when we've had shipping delays, no one is minded. No one's minded at all, which has been nice. And then right now, because we have a little bit more freedom of movement as long as we stay social distanced. So right now, just to get myself out of the house, if an order comes in from a particular like mileage range from my clinic, I just drive them around and stick them on people's porches.
Yeah, I think that's
for my garden.
That's possibly what will happen here as well, just with like local deliveries and things. So obviously we're just very restricted. We're not supposed to, if it's not an essential journey, you're not supposed to be out. So I mean, shipping is still the better way, posting
Yeah.
is still the better way. But
And
as things start to lift and restrictions start to lift, hopefully eventually, then that's another thing. Yeah.
Yeah, the other thing that I did when I first started this is that is during the summer I hired a teenager who wanted, you know, some little money for college, and you know, paid them a couple, you know, there was like somebody had, so I had read somewhere that somebody was doing a free delivery Fridays, and so they hired somebody to deliver on Fridays. And so we did the same thing as well, and had somebody drop stuff off in our, you know, in the neighborhoods that are close to my shop, which saved a ton of money, and it had a little extra personal touch.
Someone's like saying, Cheryl's saying, how long each day do you spend on this?
As far as boxing and things like that, maybe 10 minutes. You know, once it's set, there's not a ton. I will do an update. I'll do an update or put in new, if I'm putting up new products or things like that, or having to change my my counts, because the counts are done automatically unless I've got new products coming in that I have to add to the shelves. It doesn't take any longer than it would if I was doing it in the salon. But I would say maybe grand total, the website takes me maybe 40 minutes a week, maybe. And it's typically, you know, bring in a couple $1,000s a week. So, you know, it's
definitely worth it.
Yeah, it is definitely, I definitely make more money from this for time, like money per hour. My money per hour on the website is much higher than my money per hour is in the salon.
Do you have products at home that you ship, or do you have everything?
You can see right behind me.
Because we just Cheryl's just asking that, but Sarah's just saying that like, because I think quite a lot of salon owners have brought everything home at the moment. I'm lucky because I'm quite near to the salon, but it's just checking whether you're covered insurance wise as well. Do you insure yours separate for home, or is it all part of your policy?
It's all part of my policy. My policy covers wherever I have everything. So that has been really helpful for me. I'm a little OCD and I like to know exactly what's what. And so I keep my stock from my online sales separate from my stock from the salon. I will switch them back and forth. Like if one of them's going low, I'll backfill with the other, but rather than, you know, carry too much stock, but I do keep them separate.
Okay, brilliant. Right, well, John Charles saying, thanks, I work in the salon every day, so that's encouraging. It's not going to take too much time, I think. Rosie's like saying, thanks, sorry for getting it wrong, I thought it was B2B. Yeah, it's like the moment it's everyone shipping to their clients from their salons at the moment. But Rosie, if you need something on that, I'm sure Katt will be able to help with that as well. Zoe's just saying, I've removed what is on view through my salon windows and placed in the rooms. I made canvas to put on windows saying, it's not goodbye, it's see you later. But I live fairly close to my premises so I can walk. That's lovely, isn't it? I like that. Yeah, so hopefully it's not going to be too long. It's not goodbye, and it is going to be see you later. And I think just anything we can do at the moment is, you know, and keeping in touch with clients, and I know you're keeping in touch with your clients, Katt, as well. I think it's just making people feel still special, I think. So yeah, so Katt, thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
And you know, hopefully next week, everyone's going to be opening their little shops together, which I think is going to be really great. So just on a note, because I know we blocked Facebook where we couldn't because there was so many people asking for access into Beauty Directors Club, and I think some people thought that it's just the Facebook page, but it's not, it's actually, you get lots of like little business courses and things when you sign up. So yeah, there's all sorts in there, but this one I think is going to be invaluable. And I know people like Stephen will be like straight on it, like, it's like you'll have it done tomorrow.
No pressure, no pressure. If anybody has any like questions or what they want me to do a video on, like I've not done a bundle before, so I'll take hints. So
yeah, but the thing is, I think all we need is just a simple walkthrough, sort of like a dummy's guide to just doing your online shop. And yeah, I think that would just be absolutely perfect. So Katt, thank you so much. I'm just checking there's nothing else. Sarah saying thank you guys, so helpful. Oh, that's great. Katt saying fantastic live, thanks so much. Felicity saying thank you. So yeah, Katt, a huge thank you. Oh, Sarah saying I'm already putting my info and descriptions together for my shop. So, it'd be great though, because we'll be able to look at each other's and like and compare and things. It's going to be brilliant. It's going to be brilliant.
I feel like I get to be part of my little British family again, which is so nice. I love it.
Oh yeah, thanks so much. Sam saying thanks. You rock. So yeah, next week there we are. We're going to have our shops up. So everyone stay safe and we'll see you soon. And thank you once again, Katt. Absolutely amazing. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.